They would tell you're really pretty, and I would think, yeah, I am.
She was a model and the TV presenter.
If anything happened to her face, it would be the end of everything.
The end of her dream.
In an instant, her life was changed forever. Danny Lynch had been following Kate on Facebook.
He's a psychopath.
Danny became more aggressive and started threatening Kate.
He said he'd get me and my face, and now I was just worried about, him killing me.
Allegedly hiring a hitman.
A terrible tragedy caught on tape.
Horrific scenes in a normally peaceful country.
It was absolutely horrific. We didn't get a lot of information. It was just your daughter's been in a chemical attack.
And in many ways, it's one of the most horrific ways to attack people. The damage is forever.
I'll never be like the person I was born to be like.
She could only communicate through writing. She wrote to kill me.
Before this, life was great, and then this happens. What do you remember of that day?
I lived opposite an internet cafe, so he was like, go across the road and read this email, and I promise you I'll never talk to you ever again. So for me, I was like, finally I can get rid of this psycho. He was ringing me constantly and wouldn't leave me alone.
He really was insistent that I should go read these messages, I should go outside. And then he called me back, 1 minute later. I was like, where are you now? And I was like, just outside my flat. He was like, well, what are you wearing?
Katie was unaware that a 19-year-old man was pacing up and down her street, waiting for her.
As I came out the door, this guy walked towards me in a hoodie, and I really noticed him because his arms were locked. It wasn't like he was like this. His arms were locked, holding this coffee cup. So I thought, well, he must be begging. And I put the phone like this, and I started trying to get my money out my bag. And as I did, this guy just went whoosh. It hit this side of my face, and it was eaten across my face, and it was like some contagious disease eating me up, And straight away, I knew it like that. I knew it was to do with him, and I knew he'd said he'd get me, and my face and everything. I knew straight away.
Katie ran into her local cafe for help. An ambulance was called, and she was rushed to hospital. Before the attack, Katie was living in London, working hard to make her dreams come true.
I was a fun person, had lots of friends.
She had just started seeing a new boyfriend. 33-year-old Danny Lynch had been following Kate's modelling career and had found her on Facebook to ask her out on a date.
I really sort of quite fancied him, and the whole image he portrayed to me I really liked.
After only the second date, Danny told Katie he was in love with her.
When the date ended, he didn't want me to go, and I actually found it really sweet, and I thought it's really nice.
Kate had only been dating Danny for 2 weeks.
My friends were joking, he's your number one fan, it's a bit strange. Slowly, he was sort of not really wanting me to be with my friends and be with him every day, very intense.
He was ringing me constantly and wouldn't leave me alone.
He was really angry and swearing at me and shouting at me and, who do I think I am, and I can't just do this and reject him. And he was saying, you're not going to just break up with me this easy, you can't just walk away from me.
And he was like, okay, I've written you an email on Facebook and I just want you to read it. And I was like, well, we don't have any internet because we didn't pay the bill. And I lived opposite an internet cafe, so he was like, go across the road and read this email, and I promise you I'll never talk to you ever again. So for me, I was like, finally I can get rid of this psycho. Then this guy comes towards me with a hood up and a coffee cup. So I was like, this poor guy is begging. So I turned that way to get the money out. And then as I turned, he had thrown a full cup of sulfuric industrial strength acid in my face.
I thought it was a hot drink, a cup of coffee, but within split seconds, the pain was so phenomenal that I knew it was a substance as strong as something like acid.
We didn't get a lot of information from the first call. It was just, you need to come to a London hospital. Your daughter's been in a chemical attack. And they wouldn't give us any more information. We didn't know what to expect. So when we got to the hospital and they took us in to where Katie was, it was absolutely horrific. The face was completely unrecognisable. She couldn't speak, but she was writing things and, you know, where am I, what's happened? And then one of the messages was, kill me.
I just started out as a model, a TV presenter, and I was enjoying the benefits of being, I guess, what society labels as classically beautiful. And in an instant, my plans for the future were taken from me.
My appearance is a constant reminder of what he did to me, and almost like I belong to him, because it's not really my face, it's the one he created through the attack. And I think that's like the only thing I feel I belong to is him. I'll always have like his marks all over my face, all over my body. Like, I'll never be like the person I was born to be, like the person I was supposed to be.
Katie left her London flat and had to move back in with her parents.
Oh, hello. Are you ready?
We had to be quite strict with her. We didn't want her to develop into self-pity, so sometimes it was, come on, you can do it, you can get out there, no one's going to stare at you, come on, do it, you can do it.
I don't look people face to face. If I go outside for my family or something, I don't look at people. I keep my head down.
And I was fearful for such a long time of so many visible and invisible things. And I used to take it back to the prison sentence of years that the people who did this to me got. And I used to think, they're 6 years in, they've only got 2 more years, and I'm still too scared to do this, this, and this. I'm the prisoner. I'm building a massive prison outside here. And I used to think there's like 1 more year to go now, so am I going to still be too scared to go on a dating website? Am I still going to be too scared to try and go up for a job against other people who I consider are better than me? You know, what is the point? I'd live in this whole thing of my own fear, you know, built by myself, and I've got to get out there, I've got to do these things, because they're going to beat me otherwise. And at that moment, I decided to take control of my future.
Despite her injuries, Katie went back to pursuing her dreams of working in television.
Letting go of what is and stepping forward and living in what is really happening, because sometimes we hold on to what we thought should have happened, but we have to live in what is truly happening, and I think that becomes quite liberating. My life-changing trauma was nearly 11 years ago now, and I couldn't talk or feel like this in the first 7 or 8 years. But at present day, I can say one thing was taken out of my hands in a few seconds, and one decision was made for me. But everything afterwards, I was in the driving seat.
One of the newest members of the Loose Women team. Lovely to have you on board. Katie Piper.
I've just finished filming a show at Channel 4 called Secret Millions.
You know, I've married, my life's moved on, I'm a mum to 2 children. I have a different name. Yeah. What happened to me was a very small snapshot. You know, I think of a life like a movie, and that was a very small scene in that movie, and it doesn't define me at all. You know, it's very much my past, and the past doesn't really exist anymore. I've done so many more things, and I'm so many more different things to different people now than just, you know, someone that got burnt.
You have to appreciate the dark times, because it's the only time you can look up and see the stars.
I almost needed that urgency to say, you need to go out there and try 20 times and see if you get one breakthrough in those 20 times, and then you will break that fear, you know, and I did, and I hand on my heart, honestly don't live in fear now. I really don't. I don't feel disabled, I feel enabled, I feel capable, I feel ready, but I also feel realistic that, you know, just one bad thing doesn't happen to us and the rest is, you know, a bed of roses. But that's okay, because I'll know how to navigate through that.
I know myself more than ever, even though I can't see myself like I used to before.